If one of the visions of Wildomar is to be inclusive, then selected holidays wouldn't be appropriate in the public arena to represent all cultures. That breakfast with claws would not be representing all cultures. This holiday shouldn't be flaunted around by the city, wasting money, challenging people to put lights up, importing this decoration and that. This holiday is not celebrated by 3/4 of the world, and environmentalists and true Christians refuse to be a part of something that is not about Christ and thrashes the earth by literally filling up the landfills with paper and packaging and destroying more forests. California has lost 102 million trees since 2010 from the drought, partially caused by city councils that continue to build with all of its environmentally assassinating repercussions. We must stop drying out the planet from deforestation. Let's discuss the vision of Wildomar. Wildomar should be known as the open space and endangered vegetation terminator, not the tree city. There is no tree planting program here, and Cal Fire offers $1 million if you start a tree planting program. All you're going to do is bulldoze more and put up non-native trees. There is no tree ordinance. The horse trails are 1/16 of a mile in front of a few track houses. We must preserve ranching and equestrian countryside. No horse can get through on Inland Valley Way where the so-called trail is, where the hole in the road was and I fell in. And so why don't you move the hydrant? The only reason you could fill up more medical facilities, which is another point on your vision, and doctor offices is because you make people sick with bad air and fast food options and bad water. So repurpose the buildings here. You are contributing to the induced high pressure systems that won't leave any rain because high pressure meteorically doesn't do that blessing. This high pressure hangs over California and we send up greenhouse gases that blanket around the earth. And I'm wearing the color orange in alarm at Trump's selections of the cabinet, which should be the boardroom, because he appointed some man who's the head of Exxon, Mr. Pruitt. How disgusting. For the Department of Energy, he put Rick, the man from Texas, Rick Perry. That's disgusting. He tried to get rid of the Department of Energy. Also, Cal Fire published a map of extremely dangerous fire-prone areas. And Wildomar had the most areas of anybody. You made this place into a fire hazard.
The next speaker is Ken Mays.
And you people from Irvine are contributing to it. I'm totally against this moratorium, and we need to plant hemp and industrial hemp, which also somewhat passed under Prop 64, which was organized by the billionaire George Soros, which is a Democrat in name only, and actually has a whole lot of holdings in Monsanto, which is fearsome in light of their genetically modifying cannabis. If you go online and study the young people who have epileptic seizures and find out that cannabis is taking them off of 10 of their psychotropic drugs and only one left, and they stop the grand malls, then you will absolutely be in favor of this, to see the sickest of the sickest come out of their problems. I don't want anything to stand in their way of getting the medication that is better for our water, because, you know, things pass through the body. It uses what it's going to use, and then it goes into the waste treatment center. And then it goes back sometimes to wherever the water is sent, back into nature, and some molecules are too small and they pass through the waste treatment. So synthetic drugs do that. Two of the leading ones are Viagra and birth control pills. What a match. Anyway. So, But cannabis does not affect the water, and you don't need to use pesticides to grow it. And it's a God-given plant. What are you doing outlawing a God-given blessing? You know, and these people who are robbing, they're robbing anyway. Some of their food stamps were late. So, you know, things are going on out there because Republicans shut down the government. So, you know, they're going to be robbing. It's a serious situation. That's why you need to take care of the people who come here and bless you with their presence, homeless or not. Was Jesus on the board of Exxon? No. So, you know, you need to find out what Jesus did. And he was, you know, totally compassionate to the poor. And you need to be too. And you better be glad they're on marijuana and not meth and starting fires in their trailer camps and not on the holy weed.
Any other speakers, Debbie?
Yes.
The last thing Wildomar and Riverside County need, and the I-15, is more people draining the Colorado River and other hydrological sources for the people already here. People are just a GNP for Wildomar. They care about their developer friends. They harass people that speak against more buildings like me. There are 16 significant and unavoidable project-related and cumulative impacts from greenhouse gas emissions to drainage. The AQ 3.2-2 project and cumulative 2 through 5, GHG 3.6-1. You cannot mitigate that. You cannot bring good air back to Wildomar when it's gone. You can't bring the wildlife corridors back when you paved it. The general plan amendment proposes to change the existing land to very high density. I've heard that very seldom here. You need to stop that right now. 191 single families throwing out 1,000 car and truck trips every day onto the 15, combined with your Walmart fantasy and your college fantasy. This project violates the rural character of Wildomar. This project is outdistancing Marietta as the high-density capital of Riverside County. With 14 to 20 units per acre, that's worse than apartments. The parking spaces are as bad as Temecula's Promenade, which are too close together. You have to negotiate and back out to turn in. There is no bus route planned or there in that area at all. How humiliating to the people of Wildomar to turn our city into very high-density ghetto gangster housing. Make this another beautiful moment when Harry Romas voted against Golden Eagle Multifamily Properties, LLC, and sent them back to other careers and educational opportunities. Talk about house property values declining due to oversaturating the market. Houses in Wildomar will plummet in value due to the unaestheticness of the overcrowded conditions, especially from condos in very high density. You can't put up cones, orange fences, isolation areas for the burrowing owls on the property. They come every year and this is their home. You can't make them homeless. This project is located within the Habitat Conservation Plan and houses the Stevens kangaroo rat. This species typically occurs in grassland communities. It also houses the western spadefoot toad.
Thank you. Next speaker.
And
Thank you, Ms. Miller. Next
is
speaker.
Josh
The cost-
Next
Bourgeois.
speaker.
you have a very valuable
Next speaker.
plant on that property, and that's the
Josh, come-
elderberry.
Next speaker.
Come forward.
And maybe you wouldn't have to wear diapers. Is this Faith Baptist that's in the older hospital?
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. All right, this is another Faith Baptist?
No, ma'am.
All right. Well, something's wrong with my agenda package here. All right. Anyway, it's a large church coming in. And I feel that if you cared about the planet that we are the stewards of, that you won't build anything there. 800 parking places? That's huge. I mean, it's just archaic. Why can't you be creative? You know, like, walk over there and meet in the trees. You know, why do you drag all these cars around? I have seen Monte Vista after the morning services of Cornerstone. Oh, you just can't even turn left in Wildomar. This is an outrage. That hardly represents your faith and caretaking of the planet. So, you know, and it just seems to go under the sentence of a haughty look. Like, just because you're the church, you know, you should do the things that a church asks for. Well, that's not the way it is. So, you know, scale this way back. I just cannot stomach 800 parking places. Faith Baptist that's already here uses a bus. People get on a bus. They come. They have several buses around. They don't mind riding in the school bus. You know, and why do you have to be so invasive on this property? So much concrete. So, and the real estate remarks about losing more commercial footage. Oh, that's sad. No more large buildings for commercial. No more buildings, Wildomar. And give the Creator, Jehovah, the glory by leaving His land for the absorption of CO2 and the expelling of oxygen. The science, the necessary cleaner air. I mean, I don't think He's asking you to create a place that will cause more GHGs. So, welcome to Wildomar, and now do as I have done. Some nights I walk 3 and 4 miles because the bus stops and I had a night class or a night meeting. You know, suffer for your planet a little bit. If you care about the children, if you care about the air you breathe, the water quality.
Next item, 3.4.